Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review for Married at First Sight Season 14, Episode 9, called Is Love in the Table? And with all these four couples, I don't even know at this point because it's always wishy-washy. I don't know if they do this for dramatic effect, but I'm like, we don't need all these petty ass arguments, but we're just gonna start off with the whole thing. So Katina telling us in the confessional that, she's used to shopping for herself and not her and her man. So she likes to eat out a lot. So she's, trying to learn how to navigate that. And I'm just like, Katina, you just buying extra stuff. Now, I don't know for yourself if you just be buying a loaf of bread and water for yourself, but Katina, come on. I don't like a loaf of bread and water. Unless you guys already had a fridge and kitchen and all that stuff full and stocked with items for the pantry and whatnot, and all you needed was bread and water, then that's one thing. But the way Elijah was making it sound, and the way I think more or less you confirmed or whatnot, you just got a loaf of bread and water. You don't eat snacks at the house? Like, you eat nothing at the house? Is the house just for you to sleep at? Like, I don't understand. But, whatever. That was a little snippet. We see Noi. She's doing her second take on cooking. She's cooking bacon this time. So let's hope she don't overcook it for Steve's ass. Moving on to Mike. And he's saying he making a little bandana for Phoeni to show her some. Actually, Phoeni's a guy, I believe. So show Phoeni some love, since Jasmina loves her dog. So he's going to try to show love to the dog too. That's cute. And it looks like, I guess, for this episode, the experts told the cast to do something nice for your significant other, do a little activity or picnic, dinner, lunch, something. So I guess Noi went first, so she sent Steve on a scavenger hunt, and I guess he found her. I mean, I guess she was the prize at the end, so that's cute, I guess. Nothing to take from that, really. And we move on to Lindsay and Mark. I guess they have a dinner together, but it's very silent and awkward because I guess they haven't really talked from last episode with the whole bowling alley activity situation when Lindsay was in the bathroom talking so much smack about Mark, and Mark's just talking to Chris like, I can't do this no more. I can't do this. So they're just having like one word answers. Like, I guess he's asking Lindsay's questions, so she's just giving him one word answers. Very silent dinner, not really even talking. And I'm just like, okay, can we get somewhere? Okay, this is only the beginning of the episode, guys. We got 2 hours to fill here. So eventually Mark starts a conversation about what happened and that, they're not meshing well, and trying to address the issue. Lindsay, she's still upset and calls him selfish, saying that he's negative. He's looking at her like, I'm negative. I'm the one being negative. She's like, yes, you're not giving me no affirmation, none of that. So then Mark gets annoyed. He gets up. I thought he was going to walk away, but he just goes to the kitchen, which is like 2 feet away, to go to the sink. And she's still going on and, barely lets Mark say anything. Because in between what she's saying, I didn't write it word for word, but Mark is trying to, explain his side of the story. Got hair in my face. He's trying to explain his side and like, no, that's not the case. No, but she's not letting him talk. You know how Lindsay is. Goes to commercial for what? For dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And Mark says, because she asked him, do you have anything nice about me to say? Like, do you find anything nice about me? So he is like, deep down, I know that you're a sweet, loving person inside. So she's like, that's insulting. And I'm just like, oh, no, pause the brakes, Lindsay. You're insulting because last episode and a couple episodes before, you like to go for the low blow, for the jugular. You want to talk about how much money he make in a year, even though it's more than most Americans in the United States of America. You want to be talking about the size of the 2 walnuts under his peen. What else? You want to say he's a pathetic loser? Want to talk about he clogging up toilets and farting in bed and shit, what men do for the most part? Like, you want to talk about him being insulting because he said deep down he knows you're a nice person somewhere up in that craziness that you call a body. So you want to be talking, but you want to say all this stuff, but what he says is insulting to you. So You can dish it, but you can't take it. That's what I'm getting from what you just said. No, you're insulting Lindsay. It's always woe is me, but everybody else they don't have no feelings. They can't say nothing because it's all about Lindsay, just like it was all about Alyssa, right? That's why people be talking about, yo, you guys are the same. You guys are in the same pod, maybe different people, but you guys in the same circle. Karens, okay, Karens. So she says that he's insulting, and you know he's not trying to hear anything she's trying to say because he's just like, we just got to work on our communication. It has to improve. So she just like, she has a lot less hope today than she did before because in the beginning, she was all gun-ho for it. She had 100%. And now she looking like she 1%, like Alyssa. This is what I was talking about. Two different people, but in the same circle. Karens. So Mark talking about 1% is better than 0. And I'm like, that's that Chris and you. You and Chris kind of similar in the same circle. Different people, same circle, because 1% is better than 0. But you want to talk about Chris when he needs to learn when to give it up. Granted, Alyssa was a lot worse than Lindsay in a lot of ways, but at the same time, Chris only accepted 1%. So is that what you're telling us, Mark? Because 1% is better than 0, so you'll accept 1%? Because that was what Chris's mentality was a couple episodes ago. No, absolutely. Someone tell me they're giving me 1%. Bye. There's a door. I don't need a 1%. We need to be putting in the same amount of percent. I get it. We go through some things. We have arguments, all that stuff to be expected. But you're not going to come in here telling me, oh, I'm only going to give you 1%. No, because then I'll be like, there's the door. Because 1%, you might as well say 0. I don't need, no. So Lindsay saying 1%, I feel like that's a lie. Mark saying he 1% better than 0. No, I don't, no. You and Chris, y'all need to get y'all self-esteem up or something. I don't know. But we move on to Mike and Jasmina and Phoeni. They're having a little picnic. So I guess that was Mike's activity for Jasmina and Phoeni. So he comes with gifts. Jasmina talking about she thought it was for her, but it was actually for Phoeni. So she did appreciate that and thought that was really sweet. And Mike asks her, Mike, you ask these questions. I get that you ask with good intentions, Mike. But at this point, if we only see you and Jasmina for 2 hours once a week, but you be with her like every hour for like 2 months straight, like at this point, they're like 2, almost 3 weeks together. You don't know how she be acting at this point, on and off camera. So when you be asking these questions, like, do you not expect that she's gonna act the way she be acting? Because at this point, America be knowing that Jasmina just be too much a lot of the time. So the fact, okay, he asks, let's just get to it. He asks her, what's the best way for him to talk with her when he needs to address something? So Jasmina kind of cops a little attitude and saying, just talk to me, how do you not know how to talk to me? You should know how to talk to someone, right? So that gets Mike a bit annoyed, and he's telling her, okay, but you're not really explaining how to talk to you. You just say, oh, just talk to me. I should know how to talk to you. But like, that's not really answering my question. That's what he was saying. He didn't say word for word. I'm just paraphrasing, how I do. So Jasmina gets more annoyed and tells him to calm down. And I'm just like, hold up, Jasmina. So all these times when you say he being aggressive, is this the aggressive? Does this seem aggressive to you? Because to me, it doesn't really seem aggressive. Because if anything, he seems annoyed that you're annoyed. But that makes you even more annoyed and gets you acting a little buck and getting more vicious with your voice and tone. If anything, your voice is getting a little aggressive to me, but no, it's Michael's fault. So I'm just like, Jasmina, girl, I be trying to root for you, every episode, especially the first episode. I keep saying that, but you a problem, girl. You a problem. I be not wanting to think that, but you a problem. Mike still messed up for last week, but you a problem. You been a problem like every week. You messed up for like every week. Anyway, we're gonna move on to Elijah and Katina. Elijah, half of this episode, he was high AF. The eyes, the demeanor, the way he was talking, he was high, guys. He was, he was for high for high. So he asks Katina what her definition of a wife was. And then we see a little snippet flashback of the night before, or 3 nights before, whatever the case was, where he was like kind of low key, high key, telling her off about her not cleaning. Because I guess after the housewarming party, she was tired, so she wanted to go to sleep. And I guess he didn't like that because he was like, oh, let's just do half and half and, clean up the house, vacuum and mop and broom or all that stuff. So she was tired, she wanted to sleep. So then you see him just cleaning the house by himself. And I don't know what time of day or night it was, but I guess he didn't like the fact that she wasn't helping. And his definition of a wife was someone who cook, clean, and do all that shit in the house. So he's over it because, that's not his, she not acting like his definition of a wife. Not a definition of a wife. His definition of a wife. The definition of a wife, isn't that someone who just marries someone legally, spiritually, all that stuff? Everybody has their own, definition of a wife. But for me, I feel like if you want to be technical about it, she's your wife because you guys are legally, spiritually, and all that stuff bonded. Not because she can cook or clean. That's not a definition of a wife. That could be assets of a wife that you may like, but that doesn't mean every female does it. So that's not, listen, I'm not going to go into the technicality of it all, even though I kind of tried to go into the technicality of it all. It does, at the end of the day, Elijah Wan, you foul for that. Katina, grow some self-esteem because his people try to warn you on the wedding night saying that he's going to try to mold you into what he wants you to be for him. And what are you getting from this, Katina? All you getting is a husband. A bad one at that. So he talking to her that, she's not doing much and he wants his other half to help him out. And Katina talking about she wasn't expecting that reaction. But I'm like, okay, Katina, but what you doing about it though? So you're just going to let him talk to you that way? Like you don't have nothing to say back? Because listen, with me, now people say I'll be quiet, in Publix. Okay, in Publix, yes, I am. But in private, I'm sorry, you just not gonna talk to me like I'm not doing what I do in these streets. Granted, I do like to cook. Cleaning, I clean because I'm a neat freak. However, if I got the funds, like for house cleaning, like deep cleaning, like the bathroom cleaning and all that stuff, I will hire a cleaning service. If I have the funds for that month, you know what I'm saying? But basic cleaning, like brooming, mopping, vacuuming, I could do that shit. Laundry, I could do that shit. Kitchen, that's my domain. I could do that shit. So what he's saying, like, granted, yeah, if you need some help, she can help you. But if it's late at night, she tired, let her go to sleep. If it's like weeks and she's still not doing shit, that's one thing Elijah want. But the nigga, please. So she talking about she wasn't expecting that reaction, but I'm like, Katina, girl, like I said, you been with him longer than we seen y'all on TV, and you didn't expect that, but we was. You didn't expect that, even though they was trying to forewarn you. Oh, okay, we're gonna move on. So, the couples get a knock at the door. I guess it's to start a conversation about love. So Noah and Steve go first. They talking about being in love. Noy says she only been in love once. Steve talking about he been in love multiple times. And in regards to their relationship, he thinks he's getting closer to the love, but he ain't there yet. So, excuse me. Noy says she's a little bit concerned that he was able to love multiple females before, but still haven't gotten to the point of saying he loves her. And I'm just like, in the whole scene, it seemed like she was trying to force him to say that he loves her. And I'm just like, no, don't force it, because if it's forced, it doesn't, like, by the time he says it, if he feels like it's forced, it's not going to be genuine, as opposed to if he comes out and says it himself without you kind of trying to peer pressure him into saying it. So I'm like, girl, just give it time. He going to say it. I mean, he surprised me later on in this episode, but, that's how he feels. I mean, that's how he feels, but I feel like he kind of just been coerced to say that. But, yeah. Okay, we're going to move back on to Elijah Wan and Katina, and they talking about love. So Katina talking about she guarded Elijah Wan. He high in this scene too. He high for high. Not as high for high as he was the last scene. Cause it might, I don't know if this is the same day. If it was the same day, the highness is wearing off a little bit. If it's a different day, he high again. Okay. But they talk about the love and all that, whatchamacallit. She said she guarded. He said he know that because she don't be crying and shit. She never cries. So Katina explained why that is. She explained about her past relationship and how a guy verbally abused her so bad that she was always crying, and so now she doesn't really try to cry in front of people and all that stuff because she's like, a man was never gonna make her feel like that again. But you would have nigga that by the end of this episode, I feel like it's making you get to that point where you feel like that again. And I don't know if her telling Elijah on that, because at first when she said, oh, I don't try to cry like that in front of people because of my last relationship, he laughed. And I'm like, why are you laughing, Elijah? That's not funny. It's really not. So when she explained to him the situation, I don't know if he took that as, okay, I'm going to make sure to make you cry. Because I feel like how he was a few episodes in to now, he's acting like a completely different person. But then again, that might just be Isaac. Because I've been seeing people on Twitter this episode talking about, oh, look like Isaac coming out. And it's not Isaac coming out. Isaac is out. And they didn't even have to have sex to do it. Now, granted, we can't confirm nor deny if they had sex, because couples on here be talking about they don't be having sex, but they be having sex. But regardless of the fact, he acted like a full-blown Isaac from what I'm seeing these past 2 hours. Elijah Wan ain't shit. But they talk about love. She explains the whole situation. He said he understands that, and to not let that direct her future. And I'm like, oh, but you gonna direct her future, right? Because, you gotta mold her to to the woman that you want for you. But what about the man that you could be for her? We forgot about that? Okay. But so they talk about love. They go back to the discussion about love, and in the relationship is there love. So she says for her, not yet, but there's potential. He said love is a strong word and it's not on the table for him, and the connection has to grow and the standard has to be met. And I'm looking at him like, what standard we talking about? Your standard? What about my standard that has to be met before I fall in love with you, nigga? Because she said potential. So she ain't there with you yet, nigga. So it's not like she got shit to do too. You got shit to do. What's your first standard? That's the first standard for her should be. Ain't no standards for his wife other than being like loyal, okay? Keeping the vibes right and stuff, but not with the cooking, cleaning. Bye. Elijah Wan, if you want to just have, stay living with your mama and your mama doing shit for you and being your cheerleader, just say that. If you want that, you know where she lives. Go back to your mama's house, figure that shit out. Listen, ain't no mandatory, none of that. But Katina, you should have got some hints from when the mama gave you the damn cheerleading jersey saying he needs a cheerleader, because she already knew what was up. She knew how her son is. So Katina, you had so many red flags. You had a lot of hints. But you're gonna try to do this for your husband. So good luck, girl. But I didn't like this scene because Katina was just like, she's gonna do more to prove herself as a wife. She didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing, but I'm just like, but has he proven himself to be a husband for you? Because it goes both ways, Katina. And I'm going to keep bringing that up because it's not just you do it for him. He got to do it for you too. And it doesn't seem like in this episode he did for you at all. So Elijah Wan says he has to see it to believe. And I'm like, nigga, bye, please. And I got to see it to believe it that, you got clean drawers. Because you talking about she need to clean the house. But let's not forget, a couple episodes ago, the honeymoon, not even a honeymoon, before the honeymoon, when you guys got to the hotel after the wedding, you had dirty drawers, but then we seen that your drawers changed. So you knew your drawers was dirty. The producer probably forewarned your ass, like, you got something, you got something on this, on your, boxes. You might want to change that, We're still going to use the footage. We're still going to use that footage, but, just change so people don't keep seeing that. But we're gonna highlight it, in the episode though, just so you know. So Elijah won't please, and Katina said, "I got you." Katina, girl, well, all right. That's your husband. You gonna stick beside him, but there's so many hints, so many red flags. But you gonna stick beside him. All right, we're gonna move on to Jasmina and Mike having lunch in their apartments, and unfortunately, it's the anniversary of Mike's brother's passing. So Jasmina lets us know that they haven't really talked much since the picnic, and I'm just like, so y'all really being petty and getting mad over a conversation about you're getting upset over a conversation about how to have a conversation, and not really talking that much for a few days since that's stupid. See, you guys letting these anger stuff linger, it's detrimental to your relationship. This is why I don't know about Jasmine and Michael, man. I don't think they're gonna be working, because the way Jasmina, she just too bougie for her own good. Michael, he overthinks for his own, too much for his own. Oh, goodness gracious. God bless, man. God bless. But since they haven't talked and stuff, him opening up about the anniversary of his brother's passing, she appreciates his vulnerability, and what she said, how it's hard for Mike, even though he promised to be more vulnerable since day one, because he was talking about, he promised himself since day one of marriage he's gonna be more vulnerable, because he knows he has to be more vulnerable. And I guess now that concerns Jasmina too. Everything concerns you, Jasmina, huh? Everything concerns you that he does say. You always think the negative of it. Oh, it always concerns her because, not always, but it concerns her because if he said he was going to do it since day one, why he hasn't been vulnerable now? Jasmina, how come you haven't been vulnerable? Okay? Once again, it's not just him, it's you too. You haven't been vulnerable. What, you come on this show is vulnerable? No. It's one thing to come on this show like Alyssa's ass, but it's another thing to put in the work to try to make a marriage work. Jasmina. My goodness, these people get on my nerves sometimes. We're going to move on to Mark and Lindsay. So they're having lunch, and Mark says things are going good. They have a conversation about love, and Mark talks about he used to be in love, and he knew he was in love because every female that he's dated after that love never compared and always made him think about his first love. And Lindsay didn't like that. She was like, usually when you finish dating someone, you try to move forward from that. You don't try to go back. And for her, she's always going to try to move forward. So then Mark tries to explain his reasoning for that, but she's just like, no, you're harboring on what was. But, one thing is to just take the good qualities. So for your next relationship, you can know what you want and what you don't want based off that love. And I agree with what she's saying. I'm sorry. I wanted to burp, but I was trying to be professional, you know what I'm saying? But I completely agree with what Lindsay was saying. Like, yeah, I get what you're saying, Mark, but at the same time, you're harboring on what was and not moving forward and getting over that love to grow and just, like what Lindsay said, know what you want now. You know the qualities you like because you liked it in the other girl. That was your love, but you know what you didn't like because at the end of the day, y'all not together. So there's a reason you guys are not together. But they talk about loving each other. Mark says it's a possibility of him falling in love with Lindsay. And Lindsay said if you asked her a couple weeks ago, she probably would have said yes, but now it's a no. And she needs to be put as a priority because she always puts him as a priority. And I'm like, all right. Well, we'll see if that happens, Lindsay. Good luck. Best of luck to you. We move on to the guys. They go playing archery. The girl's going to go to the nail salon. So the girl's talking, and Lindsay mentioned Noy's post that she posted on social media when, for the noodle incident. And Noy explains, just the fact of learning your spouse, not necessarily a challenge, but, it's kind of difficult because now you're living with them. So you're learning the stuff that you like, the stuff that you don't like. The girls agree. And she explains that with the whole noodle incident, it took Steve being vulnerable and his voice cracking for her to realize that, like, oh my gosh, he really does love me. And I'm just like, no, I don't really think that, but you know, if that's what you want to think, no, sure, yeah, he loves you. But I don't, I don't really think that. But Lindsay was like, he loves you, and she's like, he didn't say it though, but you know, he really loves me. Lindsay was like, girl, they never say it, and I'm just like, sure, if that's what you want to take from that Noy, that he really loves and cares for you, probably so because you're his wife for the most part. But you know, sure, he loves you, girl. Yes. Like I said, we gonna get to that scene later, but I think he just saying that because she kept bothering him about it. But okay, nothing else to take from what the girls doing. Okay, we move on to the men. They letting loose, playing archery and shit. Mark loving it because he away from Lindsay's ass, and even Michael says, "Oh yeah, Mark is in his element." Yeah, because he's just happy he not doing this activity with Lindsay. But Steve talking about he competitive too. That's cute, whatever. So they sit down and talk, and you know, about the relationships and what's been going on. Elijah tells us that he feels like he's babying Katina. Katina's a grown ass woman. Elijah, okay? You not babying nobody. If anything, she probably being the more mature adult because she's containing herself from cussing her ass out for telling her what she needs and what she shouldn't, what she needs to do and what she needs to not do. So no, she's being a mature adult by containing her composure, dealing with your ass on a day-to-day, 24/7. Okay, thank you very much, Elijah One. And he's talking about if it wasn't for the situation, he would have walked away. Walk away, Elijah One. Find you a little Becky, you know, with the good hair, you know, with the long, good blonde, brunette, whatever you into hair. That's not black, because, you know, you don't date black women. That's going to do all that stuff for you and more. Let her cook you her flavorless casserole. You know what I'm saying? Because, all right, let me not do that. Okay, let me contain my composure. Because, you know, Katina's better than me. Okay, because she, listen, no. I may be quiet to people in Publix. Okay, to Publix. But you're not gonna do this. Not to me. I'm sorry. No. Absolutely not. No. I got Haitian parents. So, you know, I have that spice. Okay, all right, okay, we're gonna move on. So, yeah, so he said he would have walked away. I'm like, you should walk away now. We don't need your Elijah. You should walk away now. You and your forehead. Your 10 head, whatever. You can walk away now. Save Katina of the heartache, because you already making her crying at the end of the episode. So I don't need Katina crying more. I don't need Katina being a page from season 12. Please, I do not need that. So he's saying he's having a really difficult time, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure Katina having a really difficult time as well, Elijah, on dealing with your ass. But Steve talking about it took him being vulnerable for Noy to finally look at him and understanding what he's saying, and him just showing that he was really bothered at her just dipping out on him for 24 hours straight over some damn overcooked noodles. And Michael has something to say in regards to everybody going through something, and this is just the trial and error of getting through marriage. And if they could overcome that, then they can be better. And before he said that, I believe Mark said something too about him and Lindsay, but it is what it is. We move on to Mark. He takes Lindsay to a sushi restaurant. And the reason for that is because Lindsay likes sushi. She even lets us know she could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I like sushi. I don't think I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that's what she likes. That's what she likes. So I guess Mark's never had sushi. All right, that's cool, whatever. Lindsay makes him try sushi, and he doesn't seem like he likes it so much, and he can't use chopsticks. And you know what, Mark? A lot of people don't eat sushi and never try the sushi because they just don't like the texture and look. But that's all right. That's fine. I'll give you that, Mark. But the tacos last episode, you never had a taco until Lindsay showed you how to. Mark, you like what, 38? You never had a taco. Being in America for almost 40 years, 4 decades, you never had a taco? Really? They didn't have taco in school, like pre-K to K-12. Like, they didn't have those things. No, no taco. You just eat burgers and goldfish. I'm very intrigued, Mark. The taco, really? Okay. All right, that's beside the point. That's not even in this episode. Okay. So Mark goes into explaining to Lindsay that he appreciates her for being so open. He apologizes to her and he doesn't want to cause her pain. Lindsay appreciates it and it looks like they're back to the beginning. They're back on great terms. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. Y'all seem like you're going to be the wishy-washy couple. One day y'all good. Next episode you not. The beginning of the episode you good. End of the episode you not. The beginning of the episode you not good. The end of the episode you are good. You know, whatever. All right. I ain't worried. All right. I'm not dealing with these moon blow. Okay. We moving on to Jasmina. She set up a training day class for Mike. And it was cute. And they do activities together. She don't know how to train. Mike's just laughing at her, but he appreciates and thinks it was cute. So they do their last training activity together, and she asks him about the tragedy in his life. So he goes to explain on how he lost his brother, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I shed a tear too. I did shed a tear too, because I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I can only imagine, like So, he crying and shit. So she rubbing his thigh meat and his leg and, wiping away his tears. But like everybody said on Twitter, why didn't you hug him? So are you a person that's not easy to show love through body language, Jasmina? Because yes, the rubbing the thigh meat was nice and, wiping away his tears was nice. But in that moment, I feel like if she would have gave him a hug, like a genuine, like, bear hug, y'all could have been 10 steps ahead at that point, but I guess it's something, right? So she explains in the confessional that she appreciates Mike for showing his vulnerability and for him finally opening up to her, and she can only imagine if it was her sibling passing, she wouldn't be okay, and she kind of sheds a few tears of that too. And I'm just like, okay, so why don't you kind of try to, I mean, I know your situation doesn't compare to his and his situation doesn't compare to yours, Jasmina, but why didn't we talk about what you've been going through with your parents and being abandoned by both of your parents, both of your biological parents at this point? That could have been a perfect conversation to have, and you guys could have both connected in that way. I feel like, personally, I don't know, but she didn't do none of that because Jasmina a cold-hearted bitch. But we're gonna move on to Lindsay. She takes Mark to the batting cage and go-karting and water, some water activity too. They have fun. There's nothing much to say about that. She first joked with him saying, oh, we're gonna be bungee jumping, but she was just joking. He was scared for his life. He said, I'd rather jump off a plane than bungee jump, falling from a rope. We'll give you that, Mark. All right, cool. They have fun. We move on to Steve. He does the little picnic for Noi. Steve done told Noi he love her. He like, oh, I feel like on the third day you told me was having a little picnic when he told me that, you were having feelings for me and, you're falling in love with me and, this is 3 weeks. Because first she was trying to say, oh, it's been a month. No, girls, 3 weeks. If it was a month, you would have gotten the Married at First Sight package with the pictures of your wedding date and the little album book from the wedding date, or a little frame of your vows from the wedding day, or a video from your wedding day. Come on. I know you watch seasons of this shit. It's not no month, girl. I'm sure you want it to be a month. It's not no month. Okay? You would have gotten the Married at First Sight package from the experts or some producer or something, But it's 3 weeks, so he's talking about, so since it's the third week, he felt like it kind of aligned from when she told him she was falling in love with him, so he wants to let her know that he loves her. Do you really is this for real, Steve, or are you just saying this because you felt pressure to say you love her? It's okay if that's the case, but I just want to know which one is it. But she over the moon. She's so happy. She's just like a schoolgirl right now. She's just like, oh my gosh, I love you too. Even though I kind of already told you, but so they just being loving dovey and shit. It was cute. Don't get me wrong. I know, I ain't no hater now. It was cute, but I'm just like, is this for real, Steve? Like, you just saying this just to get her happy and shit? I don't know. But we're going to get to the last scene, y'all. The last scene is with Elijah and Katina. So, I don't know what Katina did for him in this episode, because, everybody's supposed to do something for their spouse. So, I don't know what she did for him. But he took her to a personal cooking class to learn how to make butterfly shrimp and salmon. And Katina loves the experience because Elijah said she loves salmon and been talking about it since the marriage day. She want to learn how to cook salmon, all that stuff. And I'm like, first, there's YouTube, there's Pinterest, there's Google. There's a lot of places you can learn how to, but I guess in-person experience is cool too. You don't want to burn up your kitchen and burn up somebody else's kitchen. Okay, that's fine. So they learn how to cook, and the way Elijah just watching Katina like a hawk to cook, I don't know if he was like, yeah, you better put that thing right there. Don't overburn it. And you all right, or if he was getting hot and bothered. Like, as in a good way, like, oh yeah, sizzling, throw that meat on that girl. Yeah, make that thing hot and smoky and sizzling and juicy. Like, I don't know, I think it was a little bit of both, but they do that, and Katina says she gonna do what she gotta do so that they could both say a yes on decision day, and I'm like, but how far are you willing to go, Katina, before you're stripped of yourself completely and being the female that he wants you to be, that makes you lose yourself in that process? Like, how far are we willing to go, Katina? Because it seems like the way you acting, you're willing to go all the way. And that's not what you should do. That's just not what you should do. So Elijah, he loving it and questions if she's enough woman for him. But my question to you, Elijah, is, are you enough man for her? Can you change a tire of a car? I mean, I know he's talking about he be working graveyard shifts and shit, and he works a daytime job and shit, so I get that you're working long hours and shit, so understand she got a job too. So she can't make you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Maybe she could make you dinner here and there, or whatever is your break time that you could come home and take a shower and rest or whatever. But nigga, like, what you want from us too much, and I don't see you offering nothing in return other than the title of a husband. That's about it. That's all I see. But he trying to talk to her, and this is kind of the same case with Lindsay and Mark, where he's saying so much stuff. Katina's trying to explain her side and say something, but he just keeps cutting her off so he could talk. He goes through this whole spiel and tells her that she's still learning. He said he's still learning too, but he expects her to already be there. He says he bought a home and he paid off his student loans. So he did his part, even though he's still learning. I'm just like, buying a home and paying off your student loans says nothing about being a husband. That is nothing in regards to being a husband. Just because you can buy a house, you go buy plenty of houses. What does that got to do with anything? Can you sustain that home? That's a different thing, Elijah One. You paid off your student loans. Congratulations, Elijah One. Does that mean you're ready to be a husband? No. Does that make you a man? No. Maybe that makes you responsible because you paid off that debt. That's very good, because a lot of people can't. But that doesn't mean anything. How much was your student loans, Elijah? Because if it was like $5,000, oh, well, that's still good, but that don't mean shit. Just because you paid off student loans and bought a house. So you want a cookie, you want a pat on the back, Elijah? That means nothing. That really means nothing in regards to being a man, being a husband for your wife. But you want all of this of her present tense, like cooking and cleaning. But you did past tense shit of paying a house and paying off student, buying a house and paying off student. Look at it. All right, you making me uh stutter, and that's getting me pissed off because that. All right, so he goes into the whole spiel that he's upset that she didn't cook on the housewarming party, having the friends pick up the food. And she's like, I did something. He's like, you stayed in the house all day, Katina. You was home all day working, Katina. I'm like, okay, but she was still working though. Y'all still ate. You wanted her to cook for the housewarming party, so you felt embarrassed that they didn't have a home cooked meal for the housewarming party. They don't care. They don't care. They're just there to just show face. There was only 3 people that showed up. You act like it was the wedding, and like they really do not care because the friends know how Katina is, so they know she not about to be cooking 4, 5, 6, 7 course meals. And as far as your friend, what was his name, Jeff? Jeff don't care. He got a wife at home. He probably left that. He probably didn't want that much food anyway because he probably was going to go out with his wife to dinner that night, or maybe she already cooked. I don't know, or maybe they just had frozen dinner for all I know. I don't know his wife or what they be doing, but that's besides the point. Elijah One, Katina is Katina. If you want her to cook, why don't you guys, like you said, cook together what you did in this activity? But it seems like you want her to be more of a domestic wife, barefoot, pregnant, in the kitchen cooking, not doing shit, but just cleaning and cooking in the house, not going out. And Katina, like I said, in this whole time, she's trying to get a word in, but she can't. And he feels like she should do more, and I feel like he should do more. Katina talking about she need a break, and he talking about he just trying to be real with Katina and keep her grounded. And I'm like, no, nigga, what you need to keep grounded is your ass. You really got a big head, and I mean that figuratively and literally, with that big ass forehead that you got. Elijah, you need to go somewhere with all that mess because Katina better than me, boy. She better than me. This girl crying at the table, crying in the confessional. I'm just like, Katina, girl, I feel for you, but at the same time, listen, there's only so much you gonna keep cutting me off when I'm trying to talk. Like, no, it's not about your way or the highway. Just like when Nora, it's not her way or the highway. Like, no, nigga, I'm in this relationship too. We're both in this relationship, so it's not just about all you want. Cause listen, I could be petty just like Jasmina, and in this case, this is the time to be petty with a nigga like Elijah. Elijah, he happy, he lucky he's not with Jasmina's ass, because Jasmina's ass would have been told him about himself real quick. But that's the end of the episode, guys. We'll see what happens next week for episode 10. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought, especially about Elijah One's ass. Then we just gonna see, guys, because I don't know, man. It's tragic. But I'll see you guys next week, guys. Bye. Thank you.